Hey, Dad. Happy Father's Day. You're probably wondering, who is this guy? Who is that behind the foster grants? It's me. It's Davey. It's your son. I know I look really, really cool because these are probably the coolest sunglasses I've ever had. They're actually not mine. This is your Father's Day present, and these are Barton Pereiras that I went down to the mart to get, designer sunglasses. Cool, really cool. I'm really jealous. I really want to keep them, but they're your Father's Day present, so I can't. And by now, you actually have them in the palm of your hand, so it's not a big surprise. I mean, it is a surprise, but well, whatever. But I thought you might get a kick out of that. Uh, I want you. I just, I almost don't know where to start, Dad. Um, what I really want to say is just how much I love you, how much you mean to me as my friend, my mentor, my trainer, my dad. Um, you've just been everything. I I think about times, even in my recent adult life, where I got this about how hard I had to work as a kid, and I think about you having me paint the side of the house on Riverview Drive, and it was lead paint or something, and it was all peeling. We had to grind it off with a grinder, and that was really not a very fun job. And then, always mowing that damn lawn. The front wasn't so bad, but you had like 3 acres in the back. We played football games there. um, Shoveling the snow, not only for us but for everybody else, because you would kick me out of watching cartoons at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday morning and say, "What are you doing?" And I'd say, "Watching cartoons." And you would say, "Well, get out there and make some money." I'd say, "Well, what doing what?" "Well, there's a ton of snow on the ground. Go shovel snow for other people." And okay, well, I guess I should. I guess I need to. Um, Even one time when the weather was really nice and there wasn't any snow, and it was 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, you said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Watching cartoons." And you said, "Well, get up and get out of here and go make some money." I said, "Dad, look outside. There's no grass to mow, there's no leaves to pick up, and there's no snow." Well, I'll tell you what. I want you to go around and knock on old people's doors and ask them if you can take out their trash. You're very creative about keeping me off of my butt and getting me out there to be ambitious. And that just turned out to be, of course, I did harbor resentment about the paper route for quite a while. That was a toughie. Not only did I do the regular paper route that you signed me up for, which I had to spend on my Saturdays doing the collection for the paper route, that I had to go to Home Depot town to pick up my papers at 5 a.m. in the snow, and delivered half of the season in my toboggan. The other half of the season, the summer, spring, and summertime, you got me this insane basket. What is the guy's name? Pee Wee Herman? He has this crazy looking bicycle, but the world's largest basket that I was able to tie up my papers and stack it full, and I could do it all in one run, and then throw the papers out. I got pretty good at that. But then you added to it. You called them up and you said you wanted me to have the commuter paper route for the commuters getting on the train in Depot Town and going to Detroit. So, but that was good money, because the computers don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. They just throw the money at you and you get rid of the papers. I was late to school the entire fifth grade, just so you know. Maybe that's why I was wound up in remedial reading class. That I can blame you on, I guess, maybe. Anyhow, you know, that's who made me who I am. The American dream is really the fulfillment of the opportunity to work hard and live your life in a way that you you take advantage of the fact that if you work hard, you can prosper, and I have, and I owe it to you. I have a completely different work ethic than most anybody. I can outwork the Mexicans, at least until recently, and that was always fun because they're hard workers. But you instilled that same work ethic in Jody and Karen. They're the hardest working people I know. I mean, if you stacked up the hardest people working you've ever known, we would stack up 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, or whatever. I think. Anyhow, I, I, I don't really know if you realize how important that one thing is, but it it's kind of essential to have a happy and successful life because work is very rewarding. Not just money, the possibility that you might make money, but the fulfillment of your time for a purpose. And I credit you with instilling that in us. And I credit you in spite of the fact that I really don't think that you were trained in that way. I'm not sure what the relationship with Danny and Poppy was, but I think that when you became an adult and met Mom, you guys just decided, you know what, we're going to parent our way. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to use our judgment. I know that you were able to kind of have control of the boys because you're a man and you're a hell of a man. And you knew what it would take to succeed in sports or baseball or succeed in a work thing. I remember right behind us on 310 North Grove Street, there was a lady had a really beautiful, beautiful cherry tree. I guess they're Bing cherries, and Jody and Karen and I would climb the trees and get the berries, and they always relied on me to go to the very top of the tree. I pretty much remember them standing on the ground picking up the cherries that I was picking, and then we put them in these little cartons and put them in the red wagon and went off down through the neighborhoods to sell fresh cherries. And we always sold out. Matter of fact, we came across a Jewish fella one time, and he said, "Boy, you guys, you don't know what you're doing, do you?" We said, "Yeah, well, we think we do. We're making good money here, a little quarter for a little carton." He says, "Let me show you a trick." He dumped out the cherries out of one of our cartons, and he folded the little, I guess it made out of wood, the little basket, and made it concave, so that then he put the cherries back in, and only half the cherries would fit. So he says, "If you do this for all of your little boxes, you'll make twice as much money." So we did that. But anyhow, I wanted to share some really fond memories with you. I know that this movie can't go on forever because I could spend days talking to you about how you are and about what a wonderful man you are and what a great influence you have been on us and how you've instilled the love of adventure and nature and independence and fortitude and loyalty and strength and commitment. All of these great qualities and characteristics that Karen and Jody and I have are all from you and Mom. And I think you struck out on your own as adults with children saying, "Hey, let's just do what's fun. Let's just do what we love. Let's do what we believe in." And you really didn't follow any rule book, and you weren't a conformist. Come on. Karen's first car was a 1929 Model A Ford, and even that wasn't good enough. We had we had to each get prescribed a little area where we got to do some crazy, funky, psychedelic little montage, and that car just absolutely stopped traffic. What kind of dad would have their kids, first of all, have a 1929 Model A Ford that you had restored beautifully, by the way, and then hand paint it with acrylic paints with all these crazy little squares and stuff. And you did a bunch of them, and Mom did a bunch of them, and we were very creative and artistic with it too. Ours were kind of like kids did it, but it still looked good. It was awesome, man. I had so many friends, so many times. I drove that car from Indianapolis up to the Indiana State Dunes, and I did it with Doug Nye and Todd Merrill in the middle of the night. We left in the evening because we didn't want to get on any expressways. We had to take all back roads. We got pulled over 27 times in that car by the local cop that was sitting at the light watching this thing go by. And it was a gas. I mean, there's 1,000 stories, honestly. The times that we would go and spend Sundays running over to the whistle stop and getting sausages and cheeses and breads and beer and sodas, and we would just kind of flip a coin and go out into the country to stop and pick bittersweets and cattails. And I mean, you think that we forgot these things. We did not forget these things. Um, Camping with the Gardeners, Potawatomi, that great big huge toboggan run, uh, playing ping pong with Kenny, and I mean, just so many wonderful memories of a wonderful childhood that that I've always loved. I've always believed that I had the best childhood of any child that ever was born until I started having some mental, emotional problems, and I'm so grateful now, and that I'm getting over that. I'm over it. I'm me. I love me. I love you. I love the family. I love the world. I'm a completely different person. I don't know exactly what went wrong, but I'm getting the right help, and so it's putting everything in perspective. The times that you and I went on our trips, time we went to Maryland, we did a delivery up there, some service call. It was really late. We were going along the Maryland seashore. We were looking for a bed and breakfast. I think trying to remember the Thielman Inn. I think Thielman Island. We went to a bed and breakfast that a lady had that was advertised. We called her up. She said, "Well, you can come on over." Her house had been flooded, but they were in the process of renovating it. But she did have one upstairs bedroom that she was willing to let us have, but only had one twin bed. And when we heard that, we had our little suitcases in hand, and we looked at each other. We said, "Nah, I don't think so. That's not going to work." So she said, "Well, hold on a minute. Let me call some friends of mine at the Thielman Inn and see if they're," I mean, this was midnight, "and see if they could take you in, even though they had closed for the season." Well, you remember this story. We didn't know what we were getting into. We just, it was so dark and everything. We just got our rooms and went to bed, but woke up in this luxurious room with a big fluffy white bed and fluffy white pillows and all this great seafood decor. And I mean, it was a classy place. And then looked out the window and saw these sailboats and fancy motorboats and yachts going right by our window. And turned out they had a fabulous restaurant there. They were closed, so we got to know the owners, a couple of guys that had a lot of passion for wine. I remember that. But I mean, it was just great. We even went back another time because it was such a great adventure. But everywhere we went, every time we did anything, it was like, well, where are we going to go eat lunch? We'd say, okay, well, let's stop at, that place looks good, some place named Harrison's. And, we didn't know it was famous. And we go, are you serving breakfast? They said, yeah. So she puts us at this table with this most beautiful view of their harbor. All the captains are getting together with their clients to go out and go striper fishing, and they have crab cakes and eggs for breakfast. Dad, I mean, really, does it get any better than that? Or when we went to the Reading Market, and I don't know, it was 7 a.m., they had a pianist playing in the middle of the Reading Market, and yet you could still go over to the counter and get this Jewish guy to crack a dozen oysters for you so you could have oysters on the half shell. And then Chinkatink, that's a whole nother experience. We've just done so many things as adults and kids, and you being the man that you are, you're a completely unique person. They say everybody's like a snowflake, but they're not really. Mostly everybody's some kind of a conformist. You are not. You are really a unique and wonderful man. And you have given Jody and Karen and I so much inspiration to live and enjoy life, and on the happiest terms. You're always so positive and you're so upbeat, and honestly, I'm so grateful for you, because the times where we did have a falling out were really pretty much on me. And I didn't really don't think deserve the forgiveness that you've always given me, but we wouldn't speak for 2 years, and then some event would bring us together, like going to the hospital or whatever, and you would just hold me and love me and just tell me we're not looking back, we're moving forward, it's all good. And I mean, that takes a huge heart and a huge generosity. You have so many qualities, I just really can't even mention them all. And I can't wait to be with you tomorrow to celebrate Father's Day with you, because I love you so much. I know everybody does. I thought you might get a kick out of this video. It's hard to get time to just sit down and tell you all of these things and sentiments, but out of the bottom of my heart, you're my best friend. I love you to death. I'm so glad you're my father, and I want you to have the greatest day ever, and you will, because that's you. I just love you and wish you a happy Father's Day.